Well, hello everybody and welcome. Over the last year or so, we've been doing a lot of talking about living off-grid and using less electric hookup sites and more of our batteries and the solar panels. And the big thing for me was living off-grid so that we could, spend less money and be a bit more green. So using less electricity, using more power efficient electricity items, and really just, trying to be greener and a bit cheaper in terms of living. It's been a very big journey for us, going from living in a house where at the flick of a switch electricity is always there, and then moving into a motorhome, getting used to all the bits and pieces, and wondering how all the different things work. And I've done an awful lot of learning, and I won't by any means put myself at an expert level, but I know a lot more than I did a year ago, especially since I've been doing a lot of reading on different battery types, lead acid, enhanced flooded batteries, AGM, absorbed glass mat type batteries, and lithium batteries, and all the different charging systems and how you calculate how much electricity you need, and then moving on to using inverters and getting standard 230 volt items to work off of your 12 volt batteries. And what I will say is that it is much simpler than many would have you believe to live off-grid and not plugged in to the electricity supply. It really is. You need a decent set of batteries. If you can go 12 volt for everything, and then for those bits and pieces that you need a bit more of a powerful electrical system, use an inverter to give you 230 volts out of your 12 volt batteries, like an electric kettle. A lot of people say, well, don't use an electric kettle, use a gas kettle, and I think that's probably a good idea as well, because gas is sort of easier to get, but it is still not free, as it were, to regenerate that gas. You have to go and buy it and fill your gas bottles up and so on. My thinking is really to move more to electric rather than to gas, and to have freely rechargeable or easily rechargeable batteries from things like solar power or wind power, or on the occasion where you need it, to start your engine on your motorhome to charge those batteries. If you start your engine and run it for 20 minutes, you can potentially recharge your batteries from very low to fully charged, making it much easier to live off-grid, especially if you're travelling a lot. At the moment, we're sort of parked in one place for 2 months. Not usual for us. The most time we usually camped is about 10 days at most, and then we're moving on to somewhere else and moving on. And what I will say is, if you've got a decent set of batteries and a good charging system connected to your engine, every time you move you get a full charge boost to your batteries. And then if you're economical with your electric, in terms of not leaving all the lights on all the time, and only using electricity when you need to, it can be really simple. Having said all that, my experience of going off-grid has not been as simple as all that. When we got the current motorhome, we were told that by the dealer that we were having 2 new leisure batteries fitted, 95 amp hours each, giving us a potential total of 95 amp hours in usage. So we could run a 1 amp electrical item for 95 hours without needing to recharge the batteries. And various things like the TV is about 1/4 of an amp. So imagine 95, you could run that for 360 hours without completely depleting. If that's all you were running, 95 amp hours usage is quite a lot. However, in the event, those batteries were not leisure batteries. They were a different type of battery, not designed to be drawn upon over a long period. They were starter batteries which are designed for high power drain at a short period, so for starting engines, of course. So I've replaced those with leisure batteries, the UASA EFB36 batteries, 100 amp hours each, and I've got 3 of those now. They've all been fitted. I'm not completely happy with the way they're all wired up. There's 1 or 2 bits and pieces I need to change and really tidy up, but they are fitted and they are working. However, we're down here in Spain, and as you will have seen over the last sort of couple of weeks, we are blessed with a glorious sunshine for about 6 hours a day. And you would think that the solar panels that we have 1 on the roof right above here, which feeds through the Sargent control panels into the batteries to recharge them, and we have our portable suitcase solar panel, another 100 watt solar panel connected directly to the 3 batteries to give them a charge. But what I will say is that although it's sunny and warm, the UV or ultraviolet down here in Benicassim is pretty low. And you might, well, what's wrong with that? So UV is the thing that activates the photovoltaic generation bits in the solar panels. That's how it makes electricity. And UV is the thing that makes you go sunburn, right? Gives you a sunburn. I've got pretty sensitive skin, and you might think from looking at me that I have coloured a bit, but we've been here for 3 weeks, and I've been sitting out in the sun every day, and I'm not sunburnt. So the UV levels are pretty low, and it got me thinking. So I actually went off to a few meteorological websites and checked the UV levels, and on a scale of 1 to 10, Benicassim is down at 2, so a pretty low UV index. What that means is that even though we've got the solar panel on the roof and the solar panel out there pointed directly at the sun, so it's angled at that, so it's pointing up directly at it, so more efficient than the flat panel on the roof, still not charging the batteries enough to run everything all the time, which I thought it would be. Now, we are ravenous in our use of electricity, and we have 4 computers on charge all the time. We've got camera batteries, we've got microphone sender and receiver batteries on charge all the time. Other stuff we have lights on. It gets dark about 6, so the lights go on, and we tend to like it pretty bright, so we switch all the lights on. And on occasion I've just noticed that sometimes as we're coming in and getting past the light switches, we can accidentally switch the lights on and we don't notice. So that's again draining the batteries down. Plus we've used an induction hob, we've used the kettle, we've had the inverter going for other reasons, just to test out whether it's working or not. We've had an electric slow cooker running, and all of that has meant that the battery power drains off pretty quick. Now, I think if you're aware of all that and you're careful, living off grid can be pretty easy. And I know that we can last on the batteries we've got now, and if we're careful and living a fairly normal life and using gas for a bit of cooking and the fridge and so on, then we could probably last a week or 10 days without recharging the batteries. At the moment, with the lack of sunshine or the lack of UV, it's really difficult to recharge the batteries again off those solar panels. But there you are. It's not impossible to live off-grid completely. In fact, it's very, very doable. We do have plans to rethink how the batteries are getting charged, what batteries we're using. We may go for lithium at some point in the future, and the good old DC battery-to-battery charger, which will charge directly off of the engine and the alternator that's built in, rather than getting a portable generator to charge those batteries up. But there we are. So can you live off grid? Yeah, you can. You just need to be aware of all that stuff that you're using and cut back where you can, turn lights off where you can, and make sure that you've got nothing really going that's just sucking the power gently out of your batteries all the time. And I've got to go round and do that. At some point we will be upgrading our alarm system on the van, because I don't think it's good enough. It works and it locks up the van and stops it going anywhere, but I want bigger security on the van. And so some people have said to me, well, maybe your alarm is actually sucking the power out of your batteries, and that may be true. We're not sure, but when we get back to the UK, I'm going to have all this checked out and really get things sorted out and all the systems and wiring checked, so that I know exactly what power is going where. But that's it for now. And to answer that question, can you live off grid without plugging into the power? Yes, you can. So if you've ever thought about it, get yourself some decent lithium batteries and go for it. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. If you've enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to definitely subscribe to keep on following our adventure as we travel around the UK and Europe, living full time in our motorhome. And if you don't want to miss any of our content, click the bell icon. We'll send you a reminder every time we upload.